The Call of Duty Zombies mode is something that I grew up with through my childhood and into my teenage years and into my adult life. And when I tell you that it absolutely crushes me to see what Activision has been doing to something that I am so passionate about and love so much. I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. I've brought together a couple of resources. My sources aren't super strong. We're looking at Reddit and Wikipedia and a couple of articles from Game Rant and stuff like this. But the point of the matter is I'm trying to focus on the point that Activision has been slowly killing the zombies mode. Whether it's intentional or they really are trying to make a quick buck out of zombies fans, the same way that they are out of Warzone fans, zombies is dying. It is absolutely dying, and it pains me so much, and I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit today. So let's step back through history for just a moment. The Call of Duty Zombies mode exists first in the World at War Call of Duty title by Treyarch. It's a secret mode for people who beat the campaign, and it was never supposed to be in the game. Everyone knows the history of how zombies came to be, and for a lot of people, World at War is the first game where they really got to experience the zombies mode. Now, I say a lot of people, most people got to experience zombies for the first time in Black Ops, and the reason for that is because Kino der Toten is one of the most iconic maps of all time, and the reason for that is because Call of Duty Black Ops is the best-selling Call of Duty title to date. Go look it up. It has sold the most copies ever. It is the best-selling COD that Activision ever published. And so with all those people playing that game, you can make the connection that a lot of these people probably went in to experience the zombies mode, and so Kino der Toten was the first zombies map that they ever got to play. Not a lot of people beat the campaign to unlock 5 or use that secret code in the menu to unlock 5, and 5 was just an overall too difficult map for most people. So Kino der Toten, you're looking at that map as a lot of people call it the best map of all time because it's the first that they got to play. They're nostalgic for it. Okay, so we're here. Fast forward to Black Ops 3 Zombies, which is where a lot of the core community in the zombies community believe is the peak of zombies, okay? That's where we get Der Reisendrache. That's where we get Shadows of Evil. That's where we get The Giant. That's where we get all of these insanely good zombies maps. And so a lot of people call that the peak of zombies. Now, according to the portal on zleague.gg, Black Ops 3 has sold 43 million copies across its lifetime. Now, it's nowhere near the best-selling, titles of all time, but it still is in the top 10. And according to Wikipedia, it sold 6.6 million copies in its first week, making $550 million. Okay, so this is just game sales. We're not talking about loot boxes. We're not talking about people buying gobblegums for zombies. This is just video game copy sales, digital or disc, okay? And so the zombies mode, we're looking at this being the peak. Black Ops 4 comes out 2 years later, and it had a $500 million launch. However, Activision said that it underperformed and it fell short of expectations. Now, businesses always want to see growth, right? So they made $550 million during their launch of Black Ops 3. You'd expect from the same developers, Treyarch, you'd see an increase from that number. However, they saw a decrease of $50 million just at launch. Now, for you and me who have $80 in our bank accounts, 500 million sounds extremely successful. But when you're looking at a multi-billion-dollar business like Activision, according to them, Black Ops 4 underperformed at launch, and we can see that by that $50 million decrease at launch. But here's the thing that you have to know about creating content for these video games, and especially the zombies mode. These zombie maps cost a lot of money. And because Black Ops 3 was seen as such an extreme success, and Zombies Chronicles for Black Ops 3 is one of the greatest selling DLCs of all time, They thought that they would take that money, invest it back into zombies, okay, making 4 maps at launch, 3 if you don't have the season pass, which is bull, but we won't go down that rabbit hole. They invested a lot of money into this mode, and so I think they were expecting to see those numbers skyrocket during launch, and the zombies maps were all in their promotional material. They were trying to get people who enjoy the multiplayer mode over zombies mode, trying to get them to come over to zombies, because I mean, let's face it, zombies players in Black Ops 3 spent so much money on gobblegums. I think they were expecting that people would spend that equal amount of money on elixirs. Regardless, they put a lot of money into the zombies mode. However, they say that the game underperformed and didn't meet expectations at launch. You also have the blackout mode, and this is going to be important coming up here, right? Because we're going to be talking about, of course, we're going to be talking about Warzone. The blackout mode was Activision's first attempt at a battle royale in Call of Duty, and the problem was it was behind an $80 paywall. Well, I'm in Canada, so behind a $60 paywall in the States, right? So let's move up from Black Ops 4 into the Modern Warfare era, okay? This is the most important and why I wanted to make this video today, because the shift of players moving to Warzone and the shift of Activision investing into Warzone allowed zombies to die. We also have a really big problem of the pandemic happening, okay? Everyone is home, nobody can go anywhere, Warzone just comes out, people really like this mode, and all of a sudden Activision is looking at all of this money completely rolling in and realizing just how much money they can make off of one game that they released and then selling $25 skins to people, and nobody had anywhere to go, nobody was paying for gas, nobody was paying for this, that, the other. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna buy a skin for the game that I enjoy. And that allowed Activision to see this and go, wow, I think we should start investing into this. Now, once the pandemic ends, a lot of people are going back to work. Nobody's staying home playing Warzone all day, except for people that don't have jobs still, or streamers. And so you see a dip in that player base, which also means a dip in Activision's wallets, and them trying to recapture the glory days of Warzone during the pandemic means that they're reinvesting into Warzone, taking money out of other modes, putting it into there, trying to make it this big thing. We get Warzone 2, they're investing all kinds of time and money there. I'm rambling a little bit, but the thing that I really want to point out here is Activision saw a nearly 80% drop in peak Steam players across Call of Duty titles. Now that seems like a lot across all Call of Duty titles on Steam, and maybe that's because Activision had this shift toward Battle.net of only having their games on there, like Warzone, Modern Warfare 2. You couldn't play these games on Steam, and so maybe because players were shifting to that mode, you see that drop. But the problem here is Black Ops 6 was available on Steam, and Activision has seen a nearly 50% drop in player base since launch. Now that was progressively over time. People were still enjoying that game at launch, but it was nearly 2% a day that was quitting ever since the game launched. And within about a month, 2 months, 50% of the people who purchased that game weren't even playing it anymore. And unfortunately, I was one of them. Now this is across everything. This is across Warzone, this is across the multiplayer mode, and especially this is across zombies. Now because we're specifically focusing on zombies, why aren't people playing the new zombies mode? We have gotten a new map almost every single season. People were hyped that we were getting new content, but the biggest problem is Activision forcing Warzone mechanics into the zombies mode. This Reddit user on r/COD says, "We want classic zombies. Start from nothing and build your way up, not level up your perks and spawn with LMG." And the truth of the matter is, this is the classic zombies mode that we all know and love. And I don't quite understand why Activision has this idea. They've idealized this zombies mode that is just Warzone with zombies. We saw that with Modern Warfare 3 when we got the Modern Warfare Zombies mode, or MWZ. It literally was just Warzone. It's an extraction mode, so it was their version of DMZ from the previous game, but regardless, it was this extraction Warzone mode with zombies, and a lot of people were saying that they enjoyed it, but only because it was slightly interesting. It didn't mean that we wanted classic zombies to go away. And some people will argue that classic zombies didn't go away. We're still getting round-based maps being released for Black Ops 6. But the problem is, classic zombies died 5 years ago. When Warzone released, and Activision saw just how successful that mode was, it became this idea of forcing all of these mechanics into zombies, starting with Black Ops Cold War. This is where they started to force loadouts and armor plates or some type of armor system and crafting benches into zombies, which are all mechanics straight from Warzone. And then in Cold War specifically, a lot of the round-based content was coming out much slower than fans were expecting because there was early focus on the Outbreak open world Warzone-esque zombies mode. Now, Cold War was very successful from a zombies standpoint, and the reason why is because they didn't have to invest any money into it. All of those maps were remakes of something. Okay, D Machine is just Nocturne Totem and they expanded some of the area outside of it. Cool. The rest of the round-based zombies maps are taken straight from the campaign. There is nothing original there. And then fans will say that, well, we're getting original maps for Black Ops 6, but if you take a map from Black Ops 6 and you compare that to Shadows of Evil, which is comparatively smaller and probably comparatively more simple, which map would you prefer to play? You'd probably prefer to play Shadows of Evil, and why is that? Because they invested the time and the money to come up with unique ideas and unique perk systems and unique game mechanics. They took the time to animate cutscenes and hire voice actors to come in and play characters that can talk with and interact with each other. Shadows of Evil feels like it was crafted with care, and the maps from Black Ops 6 feel like it was crafted for a paycheck. Now Activision is struggling on figuring out what to do because even Warzone is seeing a declining player base, with 33% of players on Steam leaving less than 102,000 active players. And in 2023, I know that this data is a little bit old, but we saw a peak player low of 86,000. So what is Activision planning to do? Well, according to the leaks of Black Ops 7, which is supposed to be the next game that's coming out later this year, we are going to be seeing a sequel to Black Ops 2. This game is supposed to be based in 2035. Raul Menendez, the main antagonist from Black Ops 2, is supposed to be making a return. Allegedly, all of the multiplayer maps are going to be remakes of Black Ops 2 maps, just like they did with Modern Warfare 3, rehashing all of the Modern Warfare 2 2009 maps. Unfortunately, their best solution for trying to get players back on board is to just nostalgia bait us. But the problem is, this game is not going to feel like Black Ops 2. Speaking about zombies specifically, I mean, TranZit is a bad map. It is not good, but there is a lot of fun that can be had with playing with friends. And why is that? Because of the quirkiness of the map. But beyond that, you have the classic zombie mechanics of start with nothing and build up until you have this arsenal to survive against the undead. And beyond that, Black Ops 2 also gave us Mob of the Dead Buried and Origins, which are three of the greatest zombies maps that have ever been made. In my opinion, Black Ops 2 also had some of the best multiplayer maps that have ever been made, so those maps coming back to the multiplayer mode does feel fun, and a lot of people are going to enjoy that. But very quickly, people are going to realize that this is the same old rehashed Call of Duty that we've had for the last 6 years, and nothing has changed except for the maps. If anything, I think it's going to put a bad taste in people's mouths because Black Ops 2 was such a fantastic game across everything: campaign, multiplayer, zombies, and all of a sudden we're getting this Warzone-infused game that is just completely soulless and not made with any type of passion or love. There are also leaks that TranZit is going to be coming back for Black Ops 7 Zombies. According to some people, it's kind of teased in the trailer that they released about a month ago. And honestly, it just feels like too little too late. Who knows, maybe all of this speculation means absolutely nothing and the game's going to come out and people are going to love it and praise it, and TranZit's going to be back and Zombies is going to be back and we're going to be excited again. But the matter of the fact is, Call of Duty is dying, and especially the Call of Duty Zombies mode is dying. Does that mean that I'm nostalgic for the old days? Absolutely. But the thing is, the old days of Call of Duty had a formula, a very specific formula. And as soon as you get rid of that formula and try and change it like they did in Black Ops 4, people are going to have some backlash. And that backlash resulted in the developers not going back to the way things were, but trying to expand upon the mode in some way, which is how we got Black Ops Cold War. Now, why was Black Ops Cold War so successful? Was it because it was the greatest zombies mode that we had ever played? No, it was because it was better than Black Ops 4, and it was the only option that we had for new zombies. It was also during the pandemic. Everyone was home playing video games, and so that translates to Activision in numbers as saying, people like this, they want more of this, but that just isn't the case. And again, unfortunately, it just comes down to corporate minds looking at a spreadsheet, seeing all the numbers, and saying, okay, these numbers mean good things. And maybe it does for their wallets, but it definitely doesn't for the games that we like to play. Anyway, this was just kind of a rambled word salad of a video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. This is a format that I have pretty much never done before, but I'm really passionate about this idea of Call of Duty Zombies dying, and I really don't want it to. Anyway, with that being said, hope you all have a great day.